Good thing to know that if you get buried in a casket, your body will be relaxed. You want to have a really good pillow, some kind of memory foam. Make sure the head's in a good spot.
Hello, and welcome to Grave Conversations. It's the only show where your favorite celebrities get to lie down. I am your host, David Dastmalchian. Today's guest is someone that we hope lives for a very, very long time. He is the host of the People's Choice nominated The Viall Files, but some of you may also remember him for his starring turn on The Bachelor. Please welcome Nick Viall. Hi, Nick.
Hi, David.
How are you feeling?
Pretty relaxed.
Something about just being horizontal is really nice. And you know what? I always say this to guests before we start, but I feel like two buddies were out playing, and then we just laid down on a hill, and now we're just laying there looking at the clouds together. You know?
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
I love it. Well, I'm so glad you could join us today. This is a two-part question. How does it feel to be the one being interviewed instead of doing the interview? And how does it feel to be doing so in a casket?
A lot less pressure. You know, there's no prep, which is kind of nice. And in a casket, you know, it's my second time in a casket, so I feel right at home. And honestly, I'm kind of relaxed.
Are you ready to dive in and answer some very tough questions?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Go.
Now, this first segment is called Questions You Need to Answer Before You Die, or as the TikTokers call it, Quintabid. Which celebrity would you trust to set up your Wi-Fi?
Are we going for security or like function?
It's all you. I mean, I was going to say, if it was me, Matthew Lillard, because I trust him with everything. Like, I would just trust him to, you know, install brakes on my car, to set my Wi-Fi pad. Like, there's certain people I just feel very comfortable with who happen to be celebrities. But it could be functionality, like, oh, that person seems really smart, they'd be good at that. Somebody who you don't think is gonna hijack your Wi-Fi password and use it to save on their internet bills. I don't know.
Maybe Ryan Reynolds. I feel like he would, I think it would work. Usually a lot of things work with what he does.
It would work. It would work. I choose Ryan Reynolds because he makes stuff work.
He makes stuff work.
I feel like he seems like a prankster to me. I feel like he would mess with you, and I think he would come
It's
up
possible.
with
It's a good.
He's going to come with the filthiest name of your network, so that all your neighbors, when they know that, like, and I'm not even going to throw some guesses out there because we've all seen Deadpool. We know how filthy his mind can be. If your pet could post once, just once, on your social media, what would they expose?
My hemorrhoids.
Which Kardashian would survive the longest in a Hunger Games situation, and what would be their weapon?
I mean, probably Kris Jenner. I mean, she's the mother. What would be their weapon? Shame?
If you could save humanity from destroying itself, but in order to make it happen, you had to permanently become a walrus and live deep beneath the ocean forever, would you?
No.
Okay.
I don't
appreciate
deserve
your
it.
honesty.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you for bearing yourself like that.
Yeah.
What is the best fast food restaurant?
I'm gonna go with Burger She Wrote.
That name slays. Is it an LA thing?
It's an LA thing, yeah. It's
Where'd
pretty
you
good.
grow up?
Wisconsin.
It's a Midwest kid. Okay,
Yeah.
You may be familiar with this, although I'm probably showing my age because I don't know how many are still standing, but I grew up loving, and then I ended up working there for many years, Long John Silver's.
Oh, I'm familiar. Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
You worked at a Long John Silver's?
I sure did. And I will seek them out. There's one that's like almost an hour drive from where we are here in Los
Fresh
Angeles.
fish, fast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Are there any rumors that you wished were true?
No.
There was a rumor going out at one point that I was dead.
Really?
It was the oddest thing.
I suppose that's a good thing, though, right? I mean, you would hate to have a bunch of rumors out there that you wish were true. The haters have a better version of my life than my reality, you know?
For sure. Like, the rumor on the street is you're going to be people's handsomest man alive.
Apparently I'm up for sexiest podcaster of the year for People's Magazine, so.
That's not a rumor, that's a truth. That's
That is,
a reality.
yeah. I don't know if
believe
I'll
that.
win, but it's an honor to be nominated. Like to say that our purpose was to live these very privileged and exciting lives compared to other people in other parts of the world. Like, it's hard to believe that that was their purpose. I've acted in a casket. I had to look dead. This is the first time I got to talk, so a little bit more enjoyable. Equally relaxing.
On grave conversations, we do want to normalize conversations about death and dying. It is time for a segment we call Death Wish. Are you ready to talk about end-of-life celebrations, funeral planning, all of that stuff?
Yeah, I've never really thought about it. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I'm generally ignored the idea of death.
Have you always? Is it something that has always made you uncomfortable?
Yeah, I'm definitely not excited about the possibility.
Sure.
I enjoy my life. And I've always been a bit of a hypochondriac for things that could kill me, which is different than a germaphobe, which is
For
weird.
sure. Being sick and fear of being sick and fear of death, they're connected, but they're not the same.
Right,
I have a
yeah.
deadly fear of sharks. That's a fear of things that will kill you. And then I have a really intense fear of just catching the flu, stuff like that. But they're separate feelings, you know?
As long as it won't kill me, I'm fine.
You're a parent,
Yes.
and you have one child?
One.
Okay. And she's quite young.
She is.
Is this fear, discomfort around death, do you think it's increased since becoming a parent, or has it always been pretty much there?
That's a good question. On some levels, it decreases from the perspective of your own life, because you're just more concerned about your child's well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want them to be okay. And there's definitely a weight off your shoulders in all aspects of your life as a parent to not be so obsessed with how your day is going. And then subsequently, I think, bigger picture death. On the flip side, obviously, you want to be there for your kid and you want to be around for them. And as soon as my daughter was born, I had a different perspective or appreciation for my show as a podcaster, because before it was more, I never really gave any thought to all the content I've made over the years or what I thought about it. As time passes, things become more awkward or you feel embarrassed about things that you've done. But as a parent, there's an appreciation for, if something were to happen to me or when my time on this earth is up, my kid will be able to get to know me in ways that might not be available, wouldn't be available to me. I've been lucky enough to have, my dad around all these years and I've gotten to know him, but there will be a way for my kids to go back and hear me talk about my perspective about the world or how I engage with other people. And so I think in that way, it made me a little less worried about dying.
That's very cool. You've created a digital tapestry, this kind of almost not a diary, but a record that then your kids, when they're missing you, they can go back and watch, oh gosh, that time Dad interviewed Harry Styles. They're going to listen to those conversations and it's almost like they get to sit there and be with you. I think about that a lot. There's this illusion that I have sometimes that cinema is immortal, because we know that nothing is immortal, and eventually even the strongest data files and celluloid and all that's going to go away. But just at least for my kids or people who, when I've gone, are still here, I sometimes get some comfort in the thought that oh, you could go pop in and watch many of the array of creepy, uncomfortable characters that I've portrayed.
No, but it's really true. And you can, their spirit does live on in a way. And that is, it's comforting.
Although I got to burn all my journals. I don't want my kids reading those. If you could know the exact moment of your death, would you want to?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good answer. I agree. What do you think your younger self would be the most surprised to learn about you now?
That I watch a lot of reality TV. I mean, I never was a fan, I was more your kind of typical bro. And, but then I kind of discovered reality TV is really just kind of a study of interpersonal relationships, of which I've always been a fan of, and just kind of how people connect and engage with each other. So to have built a company and a career around shows or conversations that have been genuinely enjoyed by women is something that would definitely surprise me.
Do you think that we leave an energy behind in places that we've been?
Yes, yeah, I do. I grew up in a religious family. I'm not that religious anymore, but I've always felt, you can feel people's energies. It's a tangible thing, you know? So yeah, I do. Yeah, I think people can leave their presence, or you can feel, well, energy is a tangible thing. It's not something you actually have to believe in. It really is
Scientifically
there.
proven.
Yeah, it's scientifically
sure.
proven, right? And so, yeah, I really do.
You were raised then, it sounds like similarly to me, and that's been tricky for me as I've grown, because the faith that I was raised with gave a certain set of answers about what happens when we die. And then as I've grown throughout my life, I've started to, I have many times viewed all of that from many different sides of the equation, and really thought about what it means to me, and tried to distance myself from some of the ideas that didn't really connect with my spirit, while at the same time, you know, trying to listen to the past, to tradition. It would be so easy for me sometimes. I wish that I just had like a solid, simple answer. But I wonder, when it comes to these big questions like this, since you were raised like I was, with like, here's the simple answer, this is what it is, and then you grew out and you go, I don't know if that totally connects with me. Do you think we as humans are born with a purpose, or do you think that we build one as we go?
I think we build one as we go. Yeah. And I feel like finding your purpose is really kind of the point of life. And finding purpose is what has allowed me, the more I've felt like I've had a purpose, the more I've enjoyed my life. But I definitely think our decisions matter. And I don't think everything happens for a reason. I think we make choices. Sometimes they're right, sometimes we're wrong. We're either willing to learn from them or not. Shit happens. But if you're willing to like learn, and I just kind of feel like I'm just trying to finish better than I started, and trying to like have a great group of people around me. But like, yeah, ultimately, like the idea that we're preordained to have some kind of purpose, it doesn't really land with me. It kind of seems almost a little too cocky.
I don't think you can tell someone their purpose. I think they have to discover it for themselves. And they sometimes have to go get lost in the forest a little bit, you know?
Also, there's were, you know, a couple of guys sitting in a casket, you know, having the benefit of talking about death. We have some pretty good lives, you know? Like, to say that our purpose was to live these very privileged and exciting lives compared to other people in other parts of the world, like, it's hard to believe that that was their purpose.
The universe is chaos. I happen to get to have this incredible life where I get the privilege of getting to do work that I really love, get to have conversations like this that I really love, that people are out there wanting to watch and engage in, and that these kinds of conversations not only hopefully entertain people or help them pass the time, but maybe make them feel a little bit less alone. When you get into that mindset of like, well, I'm destined for this thing, it's a little problematic.
Yeah, it's a little arrogant.
Yeah. This is a really intense question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
If you get to pick, how would you like to die?
Yeah, I don't need it to be dramatic. I think probably just in my sleep, or just around, you know, around the people I love. I hope I'm last, you know, honestly, with the people I know. I don't want to. At the same time, I don't like, again, once you're a father, I hope I never have to experience something as terrible as losing a child. But yeah, I think when I was younger, I wanted to, like, you know, if you would have asked me that question, it's been like, I want to die being a hero, which I guess, like, that would, I hope I step up if for some reason a situation requires me to serve others. But ultimately, if I got to choose, I'd rather be at the lake, you know, my family lake, and sitting on the water, watching a sunset. Every sunset there is like a Bob Ross painting. And then the sun sets and I die. That would be my dream.
I've asked that question of dozens of people. I really love that answer. And it's funny, I've never answered it, and I don't know how I would. Do you ever do any like funeral planning? Do you ever think about, this is what I would love a funeral to look like? Is it at that lake? Is it all of your people you love gathered around, just like
in the past few years, I, like, growing up religious, you know, there's like you're going to get buried type of thing, and then getting away from a kind of a more religious life. I didn't put much thought into it. Since I was able to buy my grandfather's lake house back and spend time up there at the lake, I definitely want to be cremated and sprinkled
At the lake.
at the lake.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's it. Like I don't need a party or a celebration. I just that's you can put it in a tin can and put it at the lake.
Do you ever talk about this stuff with your family?
I mean, I have mentioned that to my wife.
I would be so happy if by the time I leave this earth, through just this show alone, people feel a little more comfortable like talking about it with their friends and family.
To that point, I just hope, whether people are comfortable or not, I hope someone has someone to share that with. Because ultimately, if once you're dead, you're dead. So who cares, I suppose. And it shouldn't really bother you. But the idea that no one cares that you're dead is a really sad thought. So hopefully at least one person in this world who gives a shit about what your wishes are when you die, that you would feel comfortable enough sharing that with. Because that would just be really sad if you didn't. As long as you feel like I guess I finished better than you started, because we all start at different parts of our life. We all have different privileges, different benefits, different weaknesses. But if you feel like you accomplished something that you did something with your life, like, because we're all given gifts, we all have weaknesses to overcome, and if you're able to figure out that right combination, then usually you have accomplished something that you can look back and be proud that you did. I always feel like a failure professionally, which keeps me motivated and it keeps me working hard. But I have a hard time enjoying the successes of my career, except when it comes to my family. I think it's an uncomfortable topic that David has a very comforting way of putting a soothing feel around it, which is like, it's good to consider, and I think it's a nice little vibe.
Thank you for being so open today with me and vulnerable. We've gone some deep places together. Now I want to talk about what's happening with you and your life outside of the casket. It's a little segment that we call Living for This. What are you working on personally, professionally, that makes you feel most alive?
Personally, like growing my family. We have a beautiful daughter, and we're hoping to have more children. We've had a couple obstacles this year, but I think that's definitely like hope and dream number one. Like that's what gives me the most purpose is, being a dad, being a husband. Obviously from a professional side, the show and my company and, but all of that is like, I've accomplished enough. I'm on the professional side that I've accomplished all my wildest dreams. So at this point, I am trying to maintain that, but for the purposes of like taking care of my family. Which is really rewarding because I have a scarcity mindset. I don't know if it's kind of growing up in a family that didn't have a ton of money, but I always feel like a failure professionally, and I always feel like it's all gonna go away at any moment, which keeps me motivated and it keeps me working hard. But I have a hard time enjoying the successes of my career, except when it comes to my family. And if, they're kind of the measuring stick. If I'm able to make sure they're okay, and have what they need without spoiling them, then I feel a sense of pride and purpose and contentment. That's definitely what keeps me motivated and going on a daily basis.
I hope you will at some point soon just be sitting there, maybe by the lake, maybe helping your daughter get back to sleep and just be like, wow, man, you've done pretty great.
Yeah, I do try to remind myself of that, and I've gotten better at having those kind of meditation moments where I can get out of my anxious body and have that gratitude. But it does take a level of self-awareness that doesn't come naturally for me. I think sometimes there's people who obsess over it, which is also not healthy, and it's good to have people to talk about this with.
Thank you for being here on Grave Conversations. Before we bury this interview, I do have a final thing that I want to ask you to do. we ask all of our guests to do this. We would like you to give your own eulogy. It is spelled out Y-O-U-logy. It is a joke from season 1 that we will not ever let die. Now, when I say die, you will have 60 seconds to give yourself your own eulogy. You're at the lake house and all of your friends and family are gathered around, and this is going to be really hard because usually the longer you talk, the better. But I know you can nail this in 60 seconds. We're going to sum it up. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be meaningful. Okay, 3, 2, 1, die.
Thanks for coming, everybody. If you're here, chances are you got to see the softer side of Nick. But it probably wasn't easy because, you know, he's a rather picky, judgmental person at times. You know, family and friends is probably what mattered most to Nick. So you will notice that this group is relatively small. That's by choice. Yeah, hopefully you had some good times with him. He enjoyed some times with you. I think he was really proud of his kids and really enjoyed his time with his wife. And it was definitely the friendships and the connections he made with the people he loved that mattered the most to him. And so, again, if you're here, you played a big role in what made him the happiest.
Nick, that was an amazing interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much for being here with us. I hope you enjoyed being on the other side of the microphone this time, or the other side of the
I was.
casket.
Thanks for guiding me through this awkward but enjoyable conversation.
You guided me just as much, my friend. It was really special. Well, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you at the lake house.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, he's gone. Yeah. I bet he falls asleep pretty fast. Can I just go, or? Eulogies are really hard, you know, about yourself, or just about anyone. I hope I never have to give one.